Hello everybody, this is Division of Rationals, Unit 1, Day 5. Okay, in the beginning I give you some instructions that go along with dividing rational expressions. So number 1 says leave first fraction alone. Number 2, change all division to multiplication by multiplying by the reciprocal. And number 3, follow multiplication rules. Okay, so what does that all mean? Well, let's talk about what it means to multiply fractions first. Okay, what's nice about multiplying with fractions, okay, actually let me do something a little different here. Let me make this a 7. There we go. Okay, so what you have to do, and the only thing you have to do, is when you multiply with fractions, okay, you multiply the top, the numerator, and the numerators, and the denominators with the denominators. So in this case, 2 times 3 is 6, and 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, and this can't be simplified, so we're done. Okay, now, when dividing fractions, okay, you can follow these instructions here if you'd like, but I like to refer to dividing fractions as KFC. All right, finger licking good. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say we're dividing 2/5, the fraction, right, the whole thing, by 3/7. Okay, so what KFC stands for is keep, flip, and change. Okay, so instead of having to remember those 3 instructions in the beginning, if you can remember KFC, you're doing the same thing. Okay, so let's think about this. All right, so 2 divided by 5, so it says keep, or in the directions here, leave first fraction alone. Okay, so I'm keeping the first fraction. So I'm going to do it over here to the left. So keep. The next thing it says, flip. So you take that denominator, that fraction down here, and you flip it, or you make it its reciprocal, right? Or multiplying by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3/7 is 7/3. Or flip. Okay? Flip the fraction. And the last thing you want to do, change. Okay? Change the division sign to multiplication. And once we have done that, keep, flip, change, multiply straight across, following the rules of multiplication, and when we get 14/15. Okay, so keep, flip, change. You got to remember the rules of dividing with these fractions. Okay, so you keep the first fraction, flip the second one, or make it its reciprocal, and change it to multiplication. Let's take a look at the first example. So here it says, well, I'm not going to read all that, all right? You guys can read, okay? 4a squared b cubed divided by 25ab, all divided by that second expression here, okay? So let's follow our keep, flip, change. Okay, so you keep the first fraction or expression. Okay, flip the second one. Okay, so we're going to flip-flop this fraction. So it's going to be 35a squared b to the 4th over 8b cubed, and change it to multiplication. Okay, now we are ready to do some cancellations. Okay, we don't have any addition or subtraction signs floating around here, so what we can do is we can simplify this fraction. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to see 3 b's in the bottom. I'm going to take out 3 b's in the top, leave me with 1. I see 2 a's up here, 1 down below, so I'm going to cancel the 1 down below. I'm left with an a at the top. Let's go over to the left side. I'm going to cancel that a down below. I'm left with one a in the top. I'm going to cancel one of those b's down below. I'm left with 2 in the top. Okay, and now let's see if we can simplify those numbers. Okay, well 4 divides into 8, right? So this can become a 1. This becomes a 2. And finally, 5 goes into both 25 and 35. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 35 divided by 7, or 35 divided by 5 is 7. And so now I'm just going to circle what I have left in the top and in the bottom. And finally, I'm going to multiply 1 and 7, which is just 7. I got a times a, which is a squared. B times b squared, is b cubed, all over 10. And I can't simplify anything else, so that is our answer. Let's take a look at number 2. Okay, number 2 looks like a beast. All right, now you got to remember our rules of our order of operations. Okay, in this case we're going to multiply, then divide. Okay, so notice the multiplication comes before the division, which means these two get multiplied first, then divided by this piece right here. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. So let's first simplify this piece in the beginning here. Okay, we got 10xy divided by, okay, 2x4y times x plus y over x squared minus xy. Okay? Now, first thing I want to do, okay, is I want to try to simplify or take out a GCF anywhere I can and see if I get any nice cancellations. Okay? So let's do that first. So I can't really take anything out of this guy here, right? But I can take a 2 out of that denominator. I'm left with x minus 2y. Over here, I got x plus y, all divided by, I'm going to take out a x, and I'm left with x minus y. Okay. So unfortunately, we don't get a whole lot of cancellations. Okay. I do see one thing that kind of goes away. All right, it's this x and this y, or these two x's here. Okay, so we're left with 10y divided by 2x 2y times x plus y over x minus y. Okay, oh, I don't even know why I missed that. This 2 can go into that 10, right? There we go. So that makes it a little simpler. So that just becomes a 5y. There we go. And that 2 just goes away. Okay. All right, and unfortunately, what we're left with is we are going to have to multiply these two things together. So it's not going to be super awesome, but using our how we multiply fractions, okay, we multiply the numerator and the denominators. Okay, so let me shrink this guy up here. Move this over here. And now let's multiply these two things together. So 5y times x will give me 5xy. Remember, I'm multiplying this into both pieces. Okay. And so 5y times y will give me 5y squared. You know, I am not going to do that. I'm going to leave this factored. Apologies. I'm going to leave it just like this. Okay? All right, let's just leave it like that. And now, let's just leave this like this as well. X minus y. Okay? It's already nice and factored. All right, why would I, silly me, why would I take the time to multiply those two things together? Okay, that's already nice and factored. Okay, so we don't have to really do a whole lot else there. All right, now, let's take a look at this piece right here. Okay, so we can't forget that piece. Now this piece comes at the end. So xy plus y squared over y minus x. Okay, so now remember our keep, flip, change. Okay, so we keep the first fraction. That's already nice and factored for us, so almost made the mistake of multiplying that all out there. That would have been really silly. Okay, so keep, flip, so I'm going to flip this guy right here. So I'm going to put the y minus x at the top. And then I'm also going to factor that numerator as well. So I'm going to take out a y from each piece, and I'm left with just x plus y. And now I'm ready to do some cancellations, okay? Everything's all factored. I'm just multiplying, and so now I can just cancel some things. All right, x plus y there. These right here will cancel, right? This is our y minus x over x minus y, okay, which is just equal to -1. So those go away, but just put that -1 at the top to remind yourself. Then also, these y's will cancel. And so finally, I am left with 5 negative, right? -5 all over x minus 2y. Okay, let's look at example 3. Okay, so it's a beast. It is a beast. Okay, so let's take it piece by piece here. Okay, don't forget your keep, flip, change. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to keep the first fraction. So what I want to do is I want to take a GCF out of this first piece. All right, I want to factor this numerator. So let's take out a GCF here from that first piece. Now remember, when there's 4 terms, we have to use factor by grouping. Okay, so this first piece, there's no common factors between 5 and 6, but I see an x squared in both sides. So I'm going to take out an x squared, which leaves me a 6x plus 5. And then now, I already have a 6x plus 5 on the other side there. How can I get this? How can I take out a GCF such that I'm left with 6x plus 5? What can I take out of both pieces? All right, there's only one common factor between 6x and 5, and that's a 1. So anytime you see that we already have what we need in parentheses over here, just factor out a 1. I'm not breaking any rules here. Okay, and now I can get the factors of that first, that expression in the numerator there in that first term. The second one, okay, it might not seem evident at first, okay, this is a dots problem, okay, difference of 2 squares, which means the first number is a square number minus another square number, all right, so in this case, our a value, all right, or this square root of this 25 is going to be a 5. Okay, the square root of 36 is 6. Okay, I'm going to tag an x along with both sides and put a plus and minus in between. Okay, I'm going to put the division sign there. All right, because I'm not ready to keep, flip, change yet. Okay, I'm just trying to simplify these expressions here. So the next piece, all right, I'm going to take out a GCF from this numerator here as well. Okay, so again, looking at these first two terms, I can take out a 2x squared, which leaves me 3x plus 2. Okay. Now in this next piece, I'm going to take out a negative 3. And I'm also going to be left with a 3x plus 2. Which I'm happy because I got a 3x plus 2 on both sides. So I know I'm going to be okay. Now this one looks like a pain in the butt down here. 18x squared minus 3x minus 10. Oh boy. Well, we're going to have to use, again, factor by grouping. So I'm going to go 18 times negative 10, which will give me negative 180. So now I got to come up with factors of negative 180 such that I get a negative 3 in the middle. Okay? So let's figure out what the factors of negative 180 would be. Let's think about this. So we got 1, negative 1 and 180, negative 2 and 90, negative 3 and 60, negative 4, 45, negative 5, 36, negative 6, 30, negative 9, 20, negative 10, 18, and finally negative 12 and 15. If you're wondering why I came up with those so quickly, I will show you guys this trick in class that will make this so much easier. All right, but until we get to that lesson there, just know that there is a way to get all those factors rather quickly so that you don't have to think about it when you get those larger numbers. You know what I mean? So anyway, where I was going with that one is notice that we got a negative 12 and a 15. Okay, that can equal a 3. I'm just going to have to change the sign from the negative 12 to the 15. Okay, so now using factor by grouping, I'm going to go 18x squared minus 15x plus 12x minus 10. Okay, now let's shorten some things up here, right? So if we look at this first one, I got x squared plus 1, 6x plus 5. I got 5 plus 6x, 5 minus 6x, all divided by 2x minus 3, or 2x squared minus 3, 3x plus 2. Let's factor this guy right here. All right, so if I were to take out a GCF from that first piece, I would try to take out a 3x, which would leave me 6x minus 5. And then over here on the other side, I'm going to take out a 2. I'm also left with a 6x minus 5. And finally, write everything out. On the bottom, we're going to have a 3x plus 2, 6x minus 5. Okay. All right. Now, before I go on any further, okay, before I do my keep, flip, change, okay, I'm going to cancel a few things. So, don't be fooled by this one, okay? That is not a difference of two squares. Remember, it's addition in there, so therefore there's not subtracting anything, right? but I can cancel these, okay, because addition is commutative. All right, so we'll get rid of that, and we'll also get rid of those on the other side. Okay, notice I'm not crossing anything out between the two fractions there because I haven't done the keep flip change yet. Okay, so KFC. All right, let's first write down what we have left. 5 minus 6x, all divided by 2x minus 3, or 2x squared minus 3, and 6x minus 5. Now, keep flip change. So I keep the first one, flip the second fraction, and change it to multiplication. And once I have done all this, there's only one cancellation I can make. It's these two right here. But when they cancel, it becomes a -1. Okay, so finally, all right, I'm gonna run out of room. X squared plus 1, all divided by 2x squared minus 3. And if you wanted to distribute that negative sign, you could as well. So you'd have negative x squared minus 1 all over 2x squared minus 3. And there's your final answer. Okay? And so, we will do number 4 in class. All right, that's just an idea of what is to come with these division of rationals. Okay? For homework, I want you guys to do 1 through 5. Okay? Skip 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Do not do 6, 7, and 8. Just do 1 through 5. And that's all groups. Again, for homework, I want you to do 1 through 5. Okay? And that concludes the video, you guys. We'll do some more of those we'll practice some more of those problems in class. Okay, so we'll have plenty of time to go through a lot of those other problems at the end. Okay, so